Welcome to Global Village, and thank you for joining us today. We have two great guests, Mark from the Frontier Sign, and also Corey, RN from the HIV Community Liaison. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mark, could you please tell us a little bit about your background?
A little bit about my background. I grew up in Brooks. I went to college in Red Deer and University of Lethbridge. I came back and I started a business called Frontier Signworks and another one called Frontier Safety.
Oh, they are two different ones.
Two different businesses.
Oh.
We operate under the same roof and under the hashtag Team FS, but it is two separate businesses, but under one big family.
Wow, that's very good. Corey, you want to tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so my name's Corey. I'm a registered nurse. I am the program coordinator for HIV Community Links Brooks program. I also run the naloxone project in Medicine Hat, and I work in the operating room at the Brooks Health Center. When I finished nursing school, I went up north to Edmonton and worked for a harm reduction agency and became very passionate with working with vulnerable populations. I since went to Calgary and worked under a similar role at SafeWorks and was recently given the opportunity to come back to Brooks and provide a similar service here in Brooks, which I'm very excited about because I've been here for about 9 years and I'm very invested in the community.
Wow, that's good. So, how would in terms of STD as STD issues, what's the difference between hepatitis A and hepatitis B?
Right, so my agency works a lot with bloodborne pathogens and sexually transmitted infections, and so the difference between
hepatitis.
The difference between hepatitis A and hepatitis B is that hepatitis A is an oral fecal virus, so it is transmitted through contaminated ice or if someone doesn't wash their hands after they serve you food or things like that, whereas hepatitis B is a blood and body fluid virus, so it's transmitted through blood, semen, rectal fluid, vaginal fluid, and breast milk. They're both vaccine preventable, so you can get a vaccine that can prevent them. My agency typically works with HIV and with hepatitis C. So hepatitis C is a bloodborne virus, and it is not vaccine preventable. So there's no way to take something ahead of time to prevent yourself from getting it. So we operate under a harm reduction perspective, and we look to see what we can do to help people live a little bit safer throughout their daily activities.
So it's hepatitis A, B, and C then?
Yeah, and there's actually hepatitis D and E as well, but they're not as prevalent in Canada. But hepatitis C is the big one. It's the most concerning because there is no way to prevent it through a vaccine. It's also most widely associated with risk-taking behavior. So any sort of sharing of drug equipment or anything that involves blood-to-blood contact.
Wow, that's a very dangerous game. I think it's easier for prevention method for people.
Absolutely.
For people to know. Yeah, Mark, what makes you open the business? Is it after you graduate from university?
I graduated with a Bachelor of Management. I went back. I'm an oil patch kid. I worked about 8-9 years in the oil patch and decided at my age that if I didn't try something, the worst thing that was going to happen was I was going to end up back in the oil patch. So we tried going with Frontier. It was an opportunity that we could take over an existing company. And when I bought it, it was a 15-inch vinyl plotter, and today we've been able to grow into much more.
So when you came out of the oil patch, that's when you decided to move on to your own business then?
Absolutely, yep. My wife was believed enough in me that she said we could take the risk and leave an oil patch job and lifestyle and try an opportunity of earning your own paycheck as you go. And it was a lot of fight. We've been over in business now. This will be our 6th year, and it's been a lot of learning.
I bet it's not easy. It's a challenge, but that's a vision that
Absolutely.
You can achieve.
Absolutely, day-to-day challenges.
Day-to-day
That's
challenges.
the best way to take it, or else it'd be overwhelming.
But at least then you are heading to the vision that you love to do.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah, no, that has a very good advantage, and congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how would someone prevent, for example, for getting, or how will be the prevention method of that STD diseases?
Right. So my agency typically works around the prevention and advocacy and support aspect. And because we're a harm reduction agency, we work with people and we meet them where they're at. So we accept that every day people take risks, and risk taking occurs on a continuum from high risk to low risk. When you get in your car in the morning every day, you take a risk because you might get into an accident. To reduce the risks associated with that, you wear a seatbelt. Right? So harm reduction is like a seatbelt for communities and individuals who are engaging in high-risk activities. So when we're talking about preventing the spread of HIV, hepatitis C, or other sexually transmitted infections, we talk about risk reduction. So safer sex, using condoms, female condoms, male condoms, dental dams, things like that. And then also learning how to properly use them. We also talk about risk reduction in terms of reducing the amount of partners that you may have, or with some of the other ways that you can contract HIV or hepatitis C by sharing needles or things like that. We encourage people to make sure they never share equipment, make sure they never share equipment for tattoos and piercings and things like that, so that if they are going to take part in these kinds of behaviors, they're at least doing it in a safe manner.
Wow, that's a good information for the viewers, and I hope they will be listening. Yeah, Mike, when you mentioned safety, for example, what is the best way to have when you are at home, a lot of things probably people see as not safe. Last thing that you need is having a fire at home, or things like that. So what is your maybe professional information to the viewers, for example, to prevent fire, for example, in the kitchen, and things that
Absolutely.
they overlook?
We're lucky enough, we started our safety company in 2014, and one of the things that we did do was some of our partners had kids. So one of the things that they looked around the house were, how can we prevent things that everyday households need? One of them, most people, if you look in your house, you probably don't have a fire extinguisher anywhere near the places that they probably should be. If you look in your kitchen or in your garage or even downstairs by your washer and dryer, you should definitely have something there. First aid kits, when your kids are running around and you're searching for a Band-Aid, if you have it in the same place and have it in a consistent spot, then the kids know where to look for it. If you make sure that weekly or monthly you're checking to make sure you have your gauze pads, your bandages, all of your necessities for that month kind of checked over, simply kind of like your smoke detectors that you check monthly that need to be done. There's lots of things in the other home. You can put up a list with phone numbers and contacts near the phone, which could be also near your first aid kit or fire extinguisher. I think at the home, the best thing is for kids to make sure that it's a consistent spot for them to go to.
Wow. What about a carbon dioxide, which they call a
and lots of homes, yeah, absolutely. Lots of homes, they don't have carbon monoxide. Adding that to your safety would be good. A lot of new home security systems actually add that as a feature, but that's definitely something people should look into.
Oh, okay. To have that, there's a monitor of that?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I see. Okay. So that's very good. Corey, the prescription drugs, which is also a very deadly sometimes if you overdose, right? What are the dangers of the prescription drugs, for example?
Right. So in recent years, we've seen a sharp increase in opiate-related overdoses in Alberta and in Canada. And so an opiate is a branch of medications that are derived from the poppy plant, from opium. They're used to treat pain, typically. They bond to specific receptors in our brain, gastrointestinal tract, spinal cord, and they act like a lock and key mechanism. So when you take them, they fit into those receptors, and then they produce a sensation of euphoria and decrease the sensation of pain. In recent years, we've seen a large rise in opiate-related overdoses in Alberta, particularly from fentanyl. And so fentanyl has kind of come up in the media quite a bit, and it is incredibly potent compared to other opiates, and it's being placed into other types of medications, other types of substances, so people aren't even aware that they're around. So the dangers with that is that people don't know what they're taking, if they are using that, and they don't know the dosages, and so they put themselves at risk for an overdose. So certainly it's important to know what you're taking and knowing your source and not using alone, and making sure that you know what your tolerance level is at and everything that you can do to prevent that kind of overdose incident from happening.
Wow. Is it something that you won't be able to get from the pharmacy, or it has to be prescribed?
Fentanyl is not typically prescribed in the community. If it is, it's shown on a transdermal patch. So it's something that people would wear, and it over time slowly releases the medication. We're seeing the fentanyl being produced in illegal laboratories and then being marketed as other medications, so being sold on the streets. And so that's part of where the problem has come from.
Wow. That's a very dangerous game. Yeah, especially for the youth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's especially for the youth. Mark, you've been in business for 6 years, and you are one of the 2 companies that been awarded by Alberta Chamber.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. We were this year, actually our first year in business in 2010, we were a finalist for the New Business of the Year with the Chamber of Commerce. Last year we were lucky enough, we won the Business of the Year under 20 employees through the Brooks Chamber of Commerce. And actually the Chamber nominated us for a Small Business of the Year through the Alberta Awards. There was 100 nominees, and we were selected in the top 4 finalists, and we got to go to Edmonton and enjoy an amazing evening. And we weren't lucky enough to win, but it was a pretty cool trip. We were very, very fortunate to meet a lot of people and see Alberta at its finest, for sure. It was really cool. So we've been very fortunate with some of the awards that we've been able to win.
The problem of the newcomers, because most of them came from a different background. So how would a family or parent will be able to know if their kid is hooked to some sort of drugs? Is there a symptoms? Is there things that they can able to feel or to see?
So when we talk about risk-taking behavior and sexual health and those kinds of things, there is no specific demographic or population that is at a higher risk than anybody else. Addictions doesn't know any bounds like that. It doesn't restrict itself according to any certain populations. So the best way really to know is to have an open dialogue with your kid and to arm yourself with good information and to create an environment where if something comes up, your child feels comfortable coming to you and talking to you about it. Because the youth are incredibly resourceful, and if they want to hide something, sometimes they're quite good at it. But if you have that open dialogue, then hopefully if something happens, then you'll be able to go there for support, and you'll be able to talk to your parents for support. Not talking about it doesn't mean that it's not happening, but a lot of people are hesitant to talk about it because maybe they don't have the right information. So making sure you're educated on it and making sure you understand what sort of trends are in the community and what's going on is the best way to recognize these kinds of things.
Yes, the fact that most of the newcomers or new Canadians came from a background where most of the drugs available here are not available there, so they won't be able to know. That's the challenge they have sometimes. But is there a awareness that you have sometimes through organization? Is there things that they probably be able to attend? You go to the schools, I believe.
Absolutely, yeah. So knowing where to get support and knowing where to get information. So certainly my agency is very well versed in helping people learn about substance use, learn about sexual health. There's other resources in the community, Alberta Health Services, Addictions and Mental Health, the Sexual Health Nurse. So there's lots of places, Spec Links. Those are all very excellent resources that you can go to in order to get more information about that.
Yeah, BCIS.
BCIS, the
Francophone
organization.
Yeah. And you do go to the schools then?
Yeah, and so some of what I do involves working with the youth. I go to BCIS to work with the youth group there. I go to the junior highs to do the Healthy Relationships Fair, which happens on an annual basis. I go to the high schools to their comm classes and teach about HIV awareness and Hep C awareness, and also just about normalizing sexual health and making people comfortable in discussing things and knowing where to go if you need help.
Wow, that is oh, that's good. And there's a website they can get into.
www.hivcl.org is where you can go to get more information. My cards are located throughout various sites in the community, so you can always give me a call or give me an email, and I'd be happy to meet with you. I do work with service providers, so we go and train healthcare professionals or social workers or anybody who's in that kind of field and help raise their competencies as well so that they're more comfortable in dealing with those kinds of situations.
Wow, that's good. So that's the health side of the program. So coming back to the business side of the program is, how would you, for example, attract more businesses to the region in your own?
To the Brooks region, the County of Newell?
Yeah.
I think what we have to do is just do a better self of telling people about ourselves.
There you go.
I mean, there was a time in Brooks where, you know, the only thing that came out for news was never good news, but that time isn't anymore.
Yeah.
Brooks has taken a turn for the better.
Yeah.
We have great people in this community. We have some great organizations. We're bringing in a new baseball team. The Brooks Bandits are, you know, we have one of the best AJHL programs in all of Canada. So I think one of the biggest things for more businesses to come in is to understand that we're a diverse group. We're very much rely on oil and gas, but there are other organizations and other avenues that still need to be avenues that still need to be dealt with. So for people to come into Brooks, there's great housing markets. We have great recreation programs. We have some of the best facilities even for water parks and our rec centers. So I think people need to start allowing ourselves to be proud of Brooks and let people know that there is great opportunities here, and we should be able to attract more businesses.
Okay. And furthermore, also we have different cultures that
Absolutely.
rather than traveling to Europe or Africa or Latin America or other places, you will be able to find here.
Bring them. We have a great number of different languages, cultures. We even have the Dinosaur Provincial Park, which is a World UNESCO Heritage, and we have to keep promoting those things.
Wow, that's good. The issue of the HIV, for example, or the STD. There is also STI, I believe.
Right.
What's the difference between the STD and STI then?
Right, so the difference really is that one term isn't really used anymore. STD stands for sexually transmitted disease, and STI stands for sexually transmitted infection. And so there's been a change in no longer using the term STD, because people who become infected do not necessarily develop any kind of symptoms. And people who acquire an infection do not necessarily progress to the state of a disease. So it's really more of an accurate way of describing what's going on than just saying that it's a disease.
Oh, okay. So, but in terms of prevention, for example, whether you use a condom or whatever, there is still risky when it comes to.
Right. So, knowing the symptoms of STIs is very important. Knowing that lots of STIs and bloodborne pathogens, like HIV, which I primarily work with, don't necessarily have any symptoms at all. So the best means of prevention is by getting tested and getting screened, because knowing your status is important in protecting yourselves and protecting the people around you, protecting the people that you care about.
Okay, I see. So there is no symptoms unless someone goes for a test.
Well, it depends entirely on the STI that we're talking about, right?
Okay.
So there's bacterial infections like gonorrhea and chlamydia.
Yeah.
And with those, you can see things like it could burn when you urinate, or there could be discharge or redness or itching or things like that.
Yeah.
Then there's certain viral infections like herpes or HPV, and you can see some sort of symptoms there with lesions or sores. But then when we talk about HIV and hepatitis C, there can be no symptoms for a very long time, right? And so there is a large amount of people who are living with HIV or hepatitis C who have no idea that they have it. And so in that sense, because they don't know they have it, they don't know what precautions they need to take to protect themselves and others.
So all those hepatitis A, B, C, and D all are connected to the liver then?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So when you break down the term hepatitis and not talking about any kind of viral infection, hepa means liver and itis means inflammation of. Anything that ends with itis means there's inflammation of. So hepatitis is inflammation of the liver. And you can get hepatitis through consuming alcohol chronically or by having a fatty food diet. But then there's the viral hepatitis, which you acquire through those ways that I talked about before. And so I forgot what your question was.
And are they all connected to the liver? That's
Yes, absolutely,
yeah.
they are.
Yeah, yeah, they all attack the liver then. Hepatitis A, B, C, D, right?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
they're all connected to the
yes,
liver.
They're all connected to the liver.
Okay, that's hepatitis stands for liver then.
Yes,
Oh,
HEPA
okay.
means liver.
Hepa means liver. Oh, okay, that's
And-
what they call.
And HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus. So it is another type of virus, but it directly attacks the immune system. It attacks the CD4 cells in your body, and it makes it difficult for people to fight off any other kind of infections. So they become very sick with things that people who have a healthy immune system would normally be able to fight off on their own.
Which leads for the AIDS then, full-blown
Yes,
AIDS.
yeah,
then.
and HIV and AIDS are often incorrectly used interchangeably. People often use them like they're the same thing, but they're definitely not the same thing. AIDS is a progression. It's a combination of symptoms that comes from an HIV infection. But in Canada, we have such good treatment. As long as people are accessing treatment and routine testing, they may never progress to an AIDS diagnosis. In other countries, in developing nations, that sort of treatment and awareness isn't as universally available. So they still do see people who are living with AIDS in different countries as well.
Wow, that's that's good information for, especially for the youth, from the middle grade, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or from grade 7, I think, or worse. Those
Yeah,
are the
there's no education should be available as soon as possible, because the reality is that the youth are out there and they're taking risks that maybe their parents aren't aware of, and they're engaging in activities that maybe we wouldn't think that they would. So that education needs to begin early so that they're properly prepared to deal with things and they are engaged enough that they can make healthier choices.
No, that's very nice of you. Okay, yeah, Mark, you mentioned about those good things that we have, the dinosaur, we have all that stuff. We have Lake Newell, I think,
Absolutely.
that also attracts visitors to our area
Yep.
that they're not aware of. But we're not still exposing the area as much as we should to the social media and other places, so people will be able to know where Brooks is County of Newell or what we offer, right? And if people don't know what good is there, they won't be able to come or visit. So we need more social media activity through NRTA.
I would agree with you, and through the different cultures and joining the locals with the new people that are coming in and allowing them to learn what they bring as well. It can be lots of things like the rodeo, bringing in the new side that you guys are doing with the new culture and the performances and interchanging or incorporating, I guess, is the better word. And then the world is our marketing. We can bring as many people as we possibly can to come visit our place.
Yeah, you never know. We might get to the point of the Stampede or Ontario. I think they have Carnival or Carnival. I think. I don't know about British Columbia if they have. You have same event of Stampede or Carnival in Ontario in BC.
Yeah, there's lots of events in BC.
Multicultural, I'm talking about.
Multicultural events in BC. The BC has a ton of great cultural resources and events that they promote routinely.
What would you advise for the youth to stay in school? The advantage of being in school, importance of education, not to drop out the school. What would you advise the viewers, for example, to stay in school? So for sometimes ups and downs, sometimes there is a problems always, but staying in school is the most important, the good judgment they can make for their life. So what would you advise as Corey?
Well, I think it's difficult being a kid. It's difficult being a youth, and you're often presented with crossroads where you make one decision, or you maybe don't want to do something, or things seem like they're insurmountable. They're too tough to get through at one point in time. I would just advise to try your best to stick it through, because you might not know where you want to be when you're in high school. You might not know where you'll end up. I myself tried a whole bunch of different things before I found nursing. I was on the oil rigs as well before I got into this. And so, you know, you don't really know what you're passionate about until you find it. But as long as you keep your education up, when that moment comes, you'll be better prepared to take that opportunity.
Good advice. Mark?
I agree 100% actually, and education is something that looks very good on the resume, and part of our Team FS is we incorporate into the junior high. We sponsor a role model of the week, as well as we do athlete of the week with a few schools here. So we're really involved in making sure that kids see the pride. We actually did a few programs this year with Dutchess School and the junior high, where they're having a really hard time with team spirit and with understanding that just because you might not have been born in Brooks doesn't mean that you don't belong in that school. So we did 500 T-shirts. We teamed up with both schools and put together some stuff to try and help with that, because staying in school is the most important thing. When you have your high school and then you have your diploma, degree, or whatever certificate, that's the first thing that the employers or even if you want to go on your own and do your own, you have to have the educational background to be able to do it.
So the message, both of you, is stay in school.
Stay in school.
There you go. Actually, I've met a lot of people, including Eric from the Heritage Inn, and everyone has good things to say about your company, that the involvement of the community from your company, and they were very excited to have you as a partner. So I thought I should share with you.
Awesome, thank you very much.
And that was a discussion that I had a couple of them, and they said you are very engaged in the community. So we hope to see you more often, that engagement, and that's to you and your team. And I could say hats off, but I don't have hats. So thank you very much for coming to the program.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Corey. You're doing a great job. I think the youth is very important for prevention method of this health-wise, and that's what the youth is all about. So you're doing a great job, and we hope to see you more often in the near future. Yeah, we keep our tough questions next time for both of you. Thank you very much, and it's very honored to have both of you.
Thank you.
This is the end of the program today, and this is Ahmed Kasim. This is where the East meets the West. We're airing today from Brooks Medicine College, and we are very thankful to Brooks Medicine College, especially Reg, the manager of Brooks campus. Until then, life is too short. Be happy, don't worry, and take one day at a time. God bless you all.